Hi YouTube. Now you're probably sitting there, if you've been paying attention to the videos I've been uploading over the last couple of years, saying, you've already reviewed all the Bluebird sets, actually. The last one was the magnetic set. Well, that's true, but the James that I had, if you were paying attention and watched a short clip at the start, you would have seen has its wheels missing. And so ever since, I've kind of been casually going, if I see another James, maybe I'll buy it. And then suddenly, on the magical land that is eBay, from Melbourne, Australia, mint in box, James and Harold's High Sky Adventure. So now, it's time, good friends, to re-look at this set, because some of the things that I thought were true aren't actually true. And as always, there's some interesting details as we take a look back into the world of Thomas' past. So, come along for the final and epic part. Well, I said final last time. But as far as I know, the final and epic part of the Thomas Bluebird review. Alrighty, so first things first is to compare the boxes. Now, they're the same design as you can see, but you can see that the Thomas one is actually a lot more faded. Even though they are both, as I said, new in box, this one is a very faded blue. So I feel like this one must have been out on the shelf or in the sun by the previous owners. You can see the box is covered in dust, but so is everything in my room. Anyway, so this one is, I would say, newer, if that's possible, than the other Thomas one. Now, we can see here that the track is fully laid out. We can see they've got these little plastic insert things to keep the sheds a little bit open here and a little bit open there. We've got the three engines, well, the three parts of the engine and the tree set up in here, which doesn't look as impressive as it does on the Thomas one, but anyway, we can see we've got the same kind of writing, complete playset, rotating radar and turntable, favourite characters, play anywhere for ages 4 and up. Now what's really interesting, it says for ages 4 years and up. And then it says not for children under 3 years here, which is a little bit strange. And I suppose one thing that you really think about these sets is that they would never be made today because they're just too likely to swallow them. And so I suppose that's something we can really ask ourselves. Is it nowadays, is it the toy company's problem to make sure that children don't ingest their toys rather than the parents or the caregivers or whatever? Has there been a shift away from good quality toys just to ones that aren't going to kill people? Not that I think this could kill you, but anyway, something to think about. As I would guarantee that these kind of sets are the kind of sets I'd much rather see than all this take and play kind of stuff. Alrighty, anyway, moving on to the back of the set, you can see we've got details. I'm not going to read all these out. You can pause the video if you want to take a closer look at what they say. What's interesting to note is that the final face that they put on James isn't actually the face that they put on the James that we get in the set, as you can see, and the same with Harold. Harold's face there isn't the same face that's on him. You can see we've got that there. There you go, imaginative playset apparently, collect the whole range. Again, inexplicably, the magnetic set's missing from this picture. I'm assuming it was made the year after these ones. There you go, you can see the contents there. James the Red Engine he's listed as. Interestingly enough, the turntable's included as something that is contents, but the tree isn't, and that's something I'm going to talk about later. Then you can see all the legal information, blah blah blah, 1998. Now what's interesting is it's distributed in Canada by the Ertl company, but it's actually made by Bluebird Miniatures in England. So that's why I think some people get confused and think these are Ertl products. They're not actually Ertl products, they are the Bluebird toys, which was taken over by Mattel, I'm pretty sure, products, and that's why Mattel makes Polly Pocket now. But they were originally from England, but in America were sold by Ertl. So now let's get in and rip this set open and see what we actually got inside. Alright, so if I just do... Let me see if I try and get the camera in the right place. It doesn't end up, so I get some of it out. Okay. Alright, so if we just do an in-hand appraisal of the parts. Now we've got the new James here. I'm going to adjust the focal length of the camera. Yeah, there we go. We've got the new James here. Now, it's very nice. It's very similar to the other one, as we said, except this one's got the roller wheels on it. The same, really nice design. I mean, it's not the most detailed James, obviously, I've ever seen. But for its size, it's certainly very well detailed. This one has a stiffer, I think, coupling than the other one. As you can see, it's a little bit It's a bit of a struggle to move it. Now, I don't know whether that's just because of its age or because it's design. But I mean, to be honest, the quality control is quite good. If we compare it to the other one, which was not brand new, we can see that they're quite similar, and there isn't any major discrepancies between the new James and the old James. So this James is quite nice, as I said, as I've seen the other review. You can see that for my full opinion, but this James is very similar to the other one. Same goes for the Harold. Again, we can see the face is different to the one that it has on the box, but one that's much better than the one on the box, better than the eyes. It's actually got eyes and a little mouth and the nose there. His blades are actually, 2 of them are straight, and then one of them's a little bit bent in the box. I don't really know why that is. I thought the other ones were a little bit more bent than that, but that's because they've had play. We can see that, there we go, we get the full Harold's quite bare, but he is quite nice. I think they've got enough details on there to really make it look like Harold, especially at this scale. And so now, if we move on to the set, oh, there you go, just pulled the blue tank out. Anyway, we can see that, again, the set's very similar. The main difference is that this radio tower is actually straight now, whereas the other one was bent when I got it. We've got the same features as before. As you can see, the opening hanger for Harold, James's opening hanger, all the same, really nice detailing. What's interesting is that this tree, the one that came with it, is actually a lot larger. If I can just get it out now that I put it in. You can see that this one's actually quite a big tree. And if you pull out the tree that was supposedly came with the other set, you can see that this is actually a tree from Thomas's Quarry Adventure. So that's something I found interesting, that this is actually a really big tree on there rather than the little one that we saw previously. So that's what the tree should look like. Another interesting thing is on this set, not only, this is off camera of course, but in rotating the turntable, it didn't want to move at the start, so I had to rotate it and then it clicked into place. And then now, it's still a bit tight, very tight, this turntable. It turns this way. Oh, there you go, clicked again. And there you go. So this one's quite tight, because it hasn't had any use. Whereas this one goes the other way. So clearly this is the way it's meant to go. That also makes more sense than that one. But you can just kind of, you know, click it round and it kind of gets there. Don't really want to break it, so I'm just going to leave that one the way it is. Now if we just put James on there, we can see that he... Oh, with the tender, it's a little bit more complicated to actually turn, but you can see now that, as with the other set, you can see him just there, and he kind of goes out. So it doesn't always stay perfectly on the rails because of the way the wheels are designed. And go under the signal there, around the corner to the station, and for some reason the dead end. Beautiful. And then Harold still again clips onto the radar dish thing. And we can take Harold for a spin. Oh, it's propeller even spins, it's a bonus. So there you go, you can see this is what a new version of the set looks like. It's much nicer to have a James with wheels. I think that's really, like, you know, a plus, and that means it's got much more cross-compatibility with the other Thomas set. Now, apart from that, I don't really have anything else to say about this set, apart from the fact that I'm mournful is probably a good word, that, you know, Bluebird Company went broke and that Mattel didn't continue to make these, because they were really spectacular sets and something that I think is really, you know, different and really well done for a Thomas product, especially back in the day. And I think that it's these kind of products that just show us how boring the Thomas franchise has become in some extent, and how, you know, we get lots of the same thing. And I know that, for example, in Japan, wow, I really should need a fail reel for all of these videos, but anyway, in Japan, there's so many Thomas products, as you can see in multiple different videos all over the internet. You know, you've got the Lottie gum, which is really easy to find, which counts as a product in itself. You've got Bandai making it. You've got the full availability of not only Tomy Play Rail, but Tomy Wind-Ups. You've got capsule toys. And I think that for a show that is inherently UK, it's disappointing how few merchandise lines we have to choose from in Australia and the US and the UK and other countries, considering that, you know, it's actually an English show. And I think that it's these kind of diverse products that we should be encouraging to make sure we keep Thomas fresh and exciting, and so you can appeal to all kind of markets. Now, obviously, this would never be made again, because I talked about it's a massive choking hazard, like, huge. But products like this, for example, bringing out all the wind-ups that they have in Japan to Australia would be awesome. All that kind of stuff. But apparently that's not how Hit Entertainment and whoever controls distribution for the toys and decides where they sell them, don't know who that is, Apparently, someone told me it was Tomy. I think that's probably right, but even then I don't know why they wouldn't market them outside of the Japan market. But anyway, some overall impressions of these whole Bluebird series now that I have all of them, which are almost complete. Almost complete. I say that they're probably my favourite Thomas franchise toys, even if I don't use them as much as I use my other ones, and I recommend them to any Thomas collector, and that I think that they're just great to have, they're great to look at, great to play with, and just disappointing to think about the plans that they had for them that apparently never eventuated. Alrighty, that's all I've got time for now from TrainzXtreme. Don't forget to check out my book stories about World War III if you want to support me buying more stuff like this so I can show you guys what it looks like, so you can decide whether you want to buy it, if you can find it, that is. Anyway, don't forget to rate, comment, subscribe, all the YouTube-y stuff that you do, and, as always, that's all we've got time for from TrainzXtreme.